Let me read to you a passage from the 22nd chapter of St. Matthew's Gospel, verses 15 to 21. It's the Gospel for the 29th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year A. St. Matthew writes, "Then the Pharisees went out and laid plans to trap Jesus in his words. They sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians. 'Teacher,' they said, 'we know you are a man of integrity, and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. You are not swayed by men, because you pay no attention to who they are. Tell us then, what is your opinion? Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not?' But Jesus, knowing their evil intent, said, 'You hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me? Show me the coin used for paying the tax.' They brought him a denarius, and he asked them, 'Whose portrait is this? Whose inscription?' 'Caesar's,' they replied. Then he said to them, 'Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God.'" That's from Matthew chapter 22, verses 15 to 21. And what does it suggest to us? Well, many things could be said about the dialogue between our Lord and his hypocritical and scheming enemies in our gospel passage today. They were trying to trap him with a politically charged question, all the while posing as sincere inquirers who were coming to Jesus as to one who was utterly sincere and who was uninfluenced by human respect and the opinion of others. They were out to flatter him so as to draw him into incautious remarks. It is a reminder of the utter sincerity with which we ought always approach our Lord and live in his presence. That having been said, let us consider the reply our Lord gave to their question about the morality of paying taxes to Caesar. Our Lord said, "Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God." There are numerous implications of this reply, but I would suggest that for us in our day and in our secular democratic society, it obviously directs us to be both deeply religious and excellent citizens. You know, in the precincts of the State Parliament of New South Wales, there is a statue of St. Thomas More. He is seated, holding a book and a pair of beads. He is dressed in lawyer's garb. He is one of the greatest examples of a profoundly Catholic judicial magistrate who rose to the position of highest citizen in the land under the King himself, and served England with distinction in that capacity. He was the Chancellor of England and a model Catholic layman. He also had a remarkable understanding of the Catholic faith, and was a direct contemporary of Luther at the time of the Protestant Reformation. He entered into open controversy with Luther, and also wrote spiritual works that have become classics. That is to say, he served his sovereign and his society admirably, and likewise served God and the Church admirably. The test came when the sovereign turned his back on the laws of the Church on marriage, and then proceeded to arrogate to himself the authority of the Pope over the Church. Thomas More refused his obedience. He went to his martyrdom, a shining embodiment of our Lord's teaching in today's Gospel passage. I think that a good way of considering our Lord's words is to do so with a few models in mind, such as St. Thomas More. The cause for canonization has been introduced of the Emperor Charles of Austria, who was sovereign of Austria during the First World War. And there are other instances in history of great citizens who were truly holy Catholics, rendering to the state what duly belongs to the state, and to God what belongs to him. When holding civil authority, they exercised it as a service, respecting fundamental human rights and a proper hierarchy of values. They sought the interests of the community before their own, and their decisions were inspired by revealed truth about God, man, and the world, as the Church taught it. When they themselves were subject to authority, they respected those in authority and their right to obedience. They offered their loyal collaboration for the right functioning of public and social life, and this included love and service and defense of their homeland, the payment of taxes, and at the same time they exercised constructive criticism even if it involved a cost. They knew that a citizen is obliged in conscience not to obey the laws of civil authorities when they are contrary to the demands of the moral order. As the apostles said to the Sanhedrin in the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 5, verse 29, we must obey God rather than men, when one conflicts directly with the other. You know, I remember some years back, I think it was in Belgium, the parliament of the country passed a law allowing abortion. The king would not sign it as a point of conscience. So he abdicated, and the law went through. He was then reinstated as king by the parliament because of his high standing. But he would not sign into law an act of parliament that legalized abortion. Nor would St. Thomas More, had he been alive today. There is a great need for dedicated Catholics and other Christians to pursue careers that will serve and shape society according to the mind of God as revealed by Christ. Our Lord's response to the Pharisees and Herodians ought be remembered and thought about by every lay member of Christ's faithful, by every Christian. The lay Christian is called by God to be immersed in the world and to attain holiness there, drawing daily on his or her active membership in the Church and the Church's spiritual treasures. Through the lay person in the world, the Church is present in the world, which is to say that Christ is present in the world. The lay faithful have a mission, and our Lord sums it up. Render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God.